Hey there, Josh here, and the topic of the day, sales questions that you need to use to turn prospects into buyers. I'm going to share 25 questions throughout the video, so keep up and keep count. And to sweeten the deal, near the end, I'm going to throw in 8 mistakes to avoid when asking sales questions. Let's get to it. The sales process, as you might know, is all about dialogue. The best salespeople do not push their product. They know that the key to happy customers is helping their people solve their problems. Theodore Levitt said, "People don't want to buy a quarter-inch drill, they want a quarter-inch hole." So to know what people really want, you gotta ask loads of questions, dig deep, and be a good psychologist, in a sense. Since 2017, our sales team has run over 10,000 sales calls and have driven over 1,000 clients to Belkins. Considering that the company has grown 50 times over this period, they probably asked the right sales questions. Before you go in all questions blazing, start by thoroughly researching the client and their industry. This will help you know what you're discussing and get you on the same page with said client. Before you start the call, plan your discussion. 3 quick tips: set clear objectives. What do you want to get from this meeting? 2, prepare a mix of open-ended questions that encourage detailed responses. And 3, memorize your questions and ask them naturally instead of reading them off of a list. Okay, let's get to our first questions. Questions that, and this is important, help you to qualify your lead. Now, unless you got your lead from a filled-in form where they explicitly stated their needs, you should open your talk with some qualifying questions. What is your ideal solution? What budget has been established for this? Who else is involved in this decision? What would a successful partnership look like to you? What business changes do you expect by working with us? These, along with some additional questions similar in approach, and you can now identify which of your products could be their solution and how many steps and decision makers the sales process will involve. Next up, rapport building conversation starters. Knowing that you do have something on hand to help your prospect, you can really build rapport and credibility. Your goal at this stage is to show your prospect that you're a friend and help them take down their walls, to show them that you're really in it for more than just a sale. All right, some of our favorite open-ended sales questions for this phase. Ready? That's not one of the questions. How did you get involved in industry? What motivated you to take this call today? What's the most important priority to you with this and why? Can you walk me through how you're currently doing it today? What will make this deal worth your while? In short, this is your time to actively listen, show genuine interest, learn about their day-to-day work, figure out what bothers them, and offer help. And some discovery questions for needs analysis. At this stage, you're assessing sales needs, so you're trying to find out what the real job that the buyer is trying to get done and how your solution plays into that. Find out exactly what they are trying to accomplish, what they've tried, and what it will take to earn their business. Question time. What made you realize your current X was a problem? What motivated you to change today and not X months ago? Now, these questions give you an idea of the time frame and reveals the event that drove the need for change. What could you be doing that you aren't able to do today if this weren't an issue? Now, this question gives you leverage and a list of benefits to entice the prospect with. If you didn't solve it, could you live with it? What happens if you don't do X? What would your business look like in 12 months if your situation didn't change? Now, these questions let you know if there are consequences to a non-decision. Prospects may tell you the worst case scenario, which then gives you leverage. When does this need to be up and running? Now, not a buying time frame, but a working one. Walk me backward on how we get there. What's the internal process so I can understand how to get you to success? Now, this gives you loads of information about the buying process, possible purchase date, legal timelines, proof of concept time, etc., without directly asking for it. Listen to all the answers carefully. Use them to tailor your pitch to what you hear from this specific person. For example, if they never mention financial constraints, don't push money savings and so on. All right, what's a sales call though without some concerns? Objection-based questions to address concerns is where we're headed next. Here are a few common objections you may encounter and the questions to ask to turn them around. I don't have time for this right now. What are your top priorities then if you don't have time for this now? I have a contract with a competitor. How is your experience with said competitor? I might be able to offer a discount to ease the transition to our services and cover the cost of the switch. Whatever the question may be, knowing the objections is paramount. If you are aware of the possible concerns, you can either come back to your prospect after solving them or address them in your pitch to avoid stumbling during your following calls. All right, last but not least, questions to close the deal. Here comes the moment to make your move. Supposing everything goes smoothly, you can shift the conversation to closing the deal with something along the lines of, if there aren't any other questions and I've put the concerns to rest, what implementation timeline do you have in mind? Is anything preventing us from moving forward by the end of the day, week, month? What would you like the next steps to look like? Do you feel ready to get started or get set up? In creating a new pipeline for you, this is how we would go about next steps. Whew, that was quite a lot of questions, but guess what? I've got about 25 more for you, but not in this video. In the description box, I've included the link to our detailed article with not only 25 more questions, but breakdowns of each sales process, how the questions can be used best, and so much more. So go ahead and give it a check. Before we finish our video, as promised, a little bonus from me to you. Here are 8 mistakes to avoid when asking sales questions. Not doing homework on the leads, trying to dominate the conversation, launching into the sales pitch too soon, not actively listening, not making pauses, failing to customize questions, making assumptions and accepting ambiguous responses, and focusing too much on selling. So I don't want to just share all of this with you and then never hear from you. I genuinely want to know if you use any of these questions and how things play out for you in the end. So if anything, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more helpful vids like this and stay tuned for more value. It's coming. See you soon.